This is wrestling's greatest moments.
Hey now, wrestling fans, it's time for another episode of Wrestling's Greatest Moments. The 1980s have rightly been called the second golden age of tag team wrestling, but before the Rock and Roll Express, before the Fabulous Ones, one team wrote the blueprint for them all. Sit back as Wrestling's Greatest Moments looks at Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood, the blueprint for 1980s tag team wrestling. Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss a single video. Jim Crockett Promotions' babyface team of Jay Youngblood and Ricky Steamboat played a pivotal role in the tag team scene in the late 1970s and early 1980s. Not only were they the premier babyface team in the area, but they also foreshadowed the evolution of tag team wrestling in the 1980s. Many of the same qualities that would be associated with the Fabulous Ones and the Rock and Roll Express, fluid tags, a good-looking team that appealed to female fans, but whose toughness earned the respect of male fans, and of course, double-team maneuvers, were all evident with Steamboat and Youngblood. The Steamboat Youngblood duo held the NWA World Tag Team Championship, Jim Crockett Promotions version, 5 times, and the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team Championship once. As we'll see, there was far more to the team than a collection of tag team titles though. Jay Youngblood, the son of popular Mexican babyface Ricky Romero, began wrestling in 1975 under a mask as the Silver Streak, a play on the family's trademark lock of silver hair, and toured the territories, including a popular run in Pacific Northwest wrestling. In 1978, Youngblood began working in Jim Crockett Promotions, also known as Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, as a lower and mid-card wrestler. Ricky Steamboat, aka Richard Blood, trained at American Wrestling Association owner Vern Gagne's wrestling camp in 1973, working in the AWA, Championship Wrestling from Florida, and Georgia Championship Wrestling before making a big splash in JCP in 1977. While Ricky and Jay didn't begin teaming regularly until 1979, a July 15, 1978 bout on Mid-Atlantic TV showed a sign of things to come, with the impromptu team making short work of enhancement talent Frank Monty and Bill Howard. During and after the match, announcer Bob Caudle praised Steamboat and Youngblood's incredible chemistry. Even Steamboat took note, telling Caudle and the fans, "Hey, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was a sixth sense or something, as he could say, because every time he just gave me an eye or something, when I looked at him, that was the time to tag out, or get the other partner in there to work on the other guy." Looking back at the match, Mid-Atlantic wrestling historian David Chappelle describes it as follows. While the first pairing of Steamboat and Youngblood in July of 1978 didn't lead to anything at the time that would suggest these two would come to be one of the greatest tag teams in the promotion's history, this TV match did provide a glimpse into the moves, style, and teamwork that would become hallmarks of the tandem that would begin their magical carpet ride together in about another year. Steamboat and Youngblood began teaming regularly in 1979. Chasing NWA World Tag Team Champions Baron Von Raschke and Paul Jones for the title, before winning it on October 24, 1979. Steamboat was already over as a singles star, and the Steamboat Youngblood duo quickly won over fans. Jack Brisco remembers, "Jay had the fans eating out of his hand in the Carolinas, based on the screams that came from the women when he and Ricky walked to the ring. They were like the second coming of the Beatles." Steamboat and Youngblood became the area's top babyface team, with the two dropping the tag titles to a cheating heel team, only to chase them and regain the belts. Ray the Crippler Stevens and Greg the Hammer Valentine defeated Steamboat and Youngblood on March 29, 1980, but the babyfaces regained them less than 2 months later, defeating Stevens and Valentine in a 2 out of 3 falls match. On June 22, 1980, Stevens struck gold again, this time teaming with Jimmy Superfly Snuka. Unfortunately, Steamboat and Youngblood would have a long wait before their next tag team championship. Meanwhile, they stayed busy in singles matches, with both men earning shots at the NWA World Heavyweight Championship. In the summer of 1982, Steamboat and Youngblood renewed their team in JCP. As Kayfabe Memories' Chris Zellner writes, they reformed their team, and on August 22, 1982 in Toronto, Ontario, they won the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team belts from Don Kernodle and Jim Nelson. They would vacate the belts, though, to go after the NWA World Tag Team belts, which were held by Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernodle, which would ignite one of the greatest feuds in Mid-Atlantic history, as these two teams battled and brawled throughout the area. Indeed, Steamboat and Youngblood's greatest feud may have been their war with Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernodle over the NWA World Tag Team Championship. Slaughter and Kernodle won the titles in a Phantom tournament, supposedly defeating Antonio Inoki and Giant Baba in the finals. They immediately began feuding with Steamboat and Youngblood. Steamboat and Youngblood furiously fought the champions, but the closer the challengers came, the more Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernodle took shortcuts, such as getting intentionally disqualified to retain the belts, since titles can't change hands on a disqualification. This led to a steel cage match known as the Final Conflict, in which Steamboat and Youngblood would have to retire if they lost the match. Combat sports journalist Jonathan Snowden would write of the Final Conflict, "This wasn't a cage match for the hell of it. This was a bout that needed a cage to bring order to madness, a fight that needed a confined space and limited rule set to finally be settled. Youngblood and Steamboat, desperate to win the titles, put their very existence as a tag team up against the straps in an apuesta bout of sorts, meaning the match had very high stakes for all involved. Naturally, Steamboat and Youngblood won, but the feud wasn't over yet. JCP milked the feud for all it was worth, leading to a series where Slaughter and Kernodle chased the champions, this time putting their status as a team on the line. The champions won, and Slaughter and Kernodle were forced to split up, although that didn't stop JCP from bending the rules when it allowed the Sarge and Don to team with Magnum TA against the Russians, Ivan and Nikita Koloff and Crusher Khrushchev at the March 16, 1985 Silver Star event. While Ricky Steamboat would have an unforgettable feud with Randy Macho Man Savage and a spectacular series of matches against Nature Boy Ric Flair during his career, Steamboat believes some fans unfamiliar with his tag work missed out on some of his best work. To tell the fans the truth, they missed out on matches that were better than those in the form of me and Jay doing tags. I've had some tag team partners, and there was nothing like Jay, nothing like him. Steamboat and Youngblood wrestled their last program together in 1983 when they battled the Brisco brothers, Jack and Jerry. Steamboat and Youngblood had just finished their white-hot feud with Slaughter and Kernodle when they gave Jack and Jerry, who were babyfaces at the time, a match. The wheel for the Brisco brothers' heel turn began rolling during the bout. The switch came subtly when Jack accidentally injured Steamboat's leg by falling on him when Steamboat was trapped in Jerry's figure 4 leg lock. At first, Steamboat and Youngblood were willing to forgive and forget, but after the brothers pulled the same shenanigans a few weeks later, it was apparent that they had gone over to the dark side. Thus was born one of Steamboat and Youngblood's greatest feuds. Jack and Jerry embraced the role as villains, but added a layer of subtlety to it. At times they seemed subdued, even relaxed, but when they struck violently, as seen when they took out wrestler Jim Nelson. Nelson, once a friend to the Briscoes, believed them when they first said they didn't mean to injure Steamboat. Nelson wasn't fooled twice, though, but his courage led to the Briscoes destroying him with an apparent career-ending injury, which conveniently allowed him to shave his head and begin playing Boris Zukov. The two teams traded the NWA World Tag Team Championship while the Briscoes engaged in heel chicanery, such as stealing Jay Youngblood's Native American headdress. The series culminated at 1983 Starrcade, where the babyfaces regained the titles from Jack and Jerry, with wrestler and former CFL star Angelo King Kong Mosca serving as special referee. Although he was an established veteran, Steamboat remembers how much he learned during his and Jay's wars with the Slaughter Kernodle and Brisco brothers teams. It was so much fun during that tag team time in my career. I learned so much. Even though I was a main event guy, there was stuff going on in the ring while I was standing on the apron, and I'm watching Jay fire back, and the heels are getting heat, and I'm standing there so close, and I'm still learning. It was a lot of fun. Considering the team's fantastic history, why aren't they as highly regarded today as other teams from the 1980s? A hard-earned legacy. Fans who got to see the Steamboat Youngblood team still sing its praises. However, why has the team been overshadowed by other 80s teams, such as the Fabulous Ones, the Rock and Roll Express, the British Bulldogs, the Hart Foundation, the Midnight Express, or the Road Warriors? A big reason is that their legacy has not been preserved on tape. Many of the aforementioned teams can easily be found on YouTube, on wrestling DVDs, or on streaming services. Steamboat and Youngblood, not so much. Ricky Steamboat remembers the team's success and drawing power. The matches that we had with Sergeant Slaughter and Don Kernodle, and later, when we turned the Brisco brothers into heels, you can't dispute the crowds we drew and the accolades we got. There wasn't a lot of tape on those matches. Many were at house shows, but we had tremendous matches with these guys. That shouldn't diminish their status as an archetypal team for the 1980s golden age of tag team wrestling. Gone too soon. The Ricky and Jay team ended when Steamboat retired in 1983, a short-lived retirement at that, and the two went their separate ways. Sadly, Jay Youngblood fell prey to personal demons, which may have contributed to the team's eventual dissolution. In an interview with Wrestling Perspective, Steamboat recalled Youngblood having substance abuse problems during the last 2 years of their time together, with things steadily declining. The last year, it felt like I was babysitting him more than what an adult should for another adult. It just became too much for me to even try to watch him. We'd go to the hotel, I'd go to bed, and he'd be up until 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, wandering around the parking lot. Steamboat eventually left JCP for the WWF, with Jay working in JCP, Memphis, and Championship Wrestling from Florida. Jay's life ended on September 2nd, 1985, during a wrestling tour of Australia. According to Jay's daughter, he was really sick for a week, got better and had surgery. He had a series of heart attacks and had hemorrhagic pancreatitis. He developed septicemia and other abdominal problems. He thought he was getting better, and then it happened. I think he probably knew what was going on. Jay was only 30 when he died from a heart attack. One of wrestling's biggest what-ifs is whether the two would have reunited had Youngblood lived. While Ricky Steamboat became a standout singles star and eventual NWA World Heavyweight Champion, he and Jay spent time apart before, with both winning singles gold before teaming up again. Could the two have recreated their magic? And if so, how would they fare against teams such as the Hart Foundation, the Midnight Express, or the Road Warriors? Do you remember the Ricky Steamboat and Jay Youngblood team? And if so, what's your opinion of them? Share your thoughts in the comment section, and let us know if there are any videos you'd like wrestling's greatest moments to cover. In the meantime, subscribe to our channel, follow us on X and Instagram, and spread the good news about wrestling's greatest moments, the channel that celebrates the squared circle.